Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody, I want to welcome you. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I mean, you know, we're thinking about, well, okay, I don't know, we are. I am. I'm thinking about my life. I had such a phenomenal call with Francine last week or a week or so ago. Francine Vale is my co-host today. And what I'm really struck by, and she touched upon it before we even came on, and what I'm struck by is something expansive just happened. I don't know what it is. You know, I know that there are people talking about it energetically, but I have the sense that the angels and light beings are singing. Francine Vale is somebody that knows a lot about angels and light beings, beyond. And what it is that I am so committed to is making sure all you all know about, there was my southern part of me just come right out of there because I'm talking to my brother again. But this is a time where we need to bring the divine love. That's what she does. That's what she's doing. There's this golden healing light. And it is so interesting that she and I were just chatting because she has been doing this work, connecting us to angels and light beings. She has been studying crystal energy. She has been a healer all her life. Those of you know what I'm talking about because you've worked with her. So today, light beings are spiritual companions. They are with us everywhere. And the question is, are we ready, willing, able to use them? Francine, it's so great to have you here. What is it about the energy?
Oh, dear. Well, trying to separate myself from things that I read and just use my own intuition, which is something that I very strongly advise everyone to do. I feel that those of us who have been working hard toward a goal for a very long time are going to see our work come to fruition in a way that we have dreamed about. And wondered many times, how is it ever going to happen? And the energies now are supporting that because we are living in a time of chaos, which is not hard to see. And this chaos is for a reason. What is the chaos being caused by? It's being caused by all the dark energies being released and up for examination by the rest of us. So we see all of this, and whoa, we are really, a little bit knocked back by it. This is that bad. Then something else comes out. It's that bad. And yes, it is that bad. But we have survived and thrived along with it before we ever knew about it. Now that we know about it, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to get frightened and fall into a place where we are not active and give up hope? Or are we going to continue with our life trajectory and say, no, I'm not part of it. I am part of making a better world, and now I will rededicate myself even more so because I see now what I've been battling against all this time that I didn't know before. So that alone gives us tremendous strength to move forward and become an impetus for us to truly rededicate ourselves. I could say to the light, but I could also say to everything that people have been working for. Our majority of people are working for good things, to continue. There are so many people who are doing good with their lives, just about everybody, and people who need a lot of help. Now it's time to reach out and take steps in your own behalf at the same time. That's also very, very important. What do steps in your own behalf look like?
Yeah.
It could look like picking up books and starting to educate yourself about the higher spiritual dimension that is in you. The spiritual dimension, everything I want to talk about today about the light beings, is in us. It's inside us. It's not far away. So it's very easy for us to connect as long as we have the desire to connect. And I really feel that that's our way of climbing out of this chaos, out of the matrix, and creating a better world.
You know, Francine, I love, I love, not only do I love speaking with you, but you and I, for whatever reason, and when we first met, I could not put my finger on what I was called to do or why I was really so called to help you. And I remember going through and saying, I've got this vision about a website, Angel and Light Beings, but I didn't really have a sense, like you do, of what light beings were. And you have brilliantly and are brilliantly sharing this, not only on the show, but the work you do with people as well as in the videos. Many people don't know what light beings are. Can you just give us some insight? Because if you ask people, they have a sense, yeah, I can sense they're all around me, but don't really have any idea of what to look for, what they are, or what the heck to do.
Yes, I would love to share that with you and everyone who's listening. The first thing is to know that the universe, the all that is a place of infinite love and light. It is also a place of infinite creativity, and that allows for infinite light. How does that translate into our lives? We are creative beings. We are doing our best, so we're being creative. It doesn't matter if we're playing with our children and making little things out of paper and paste with them. That's creative. Children take to that so well, and we all know, if we've ever been with children, had our own children, how easily they learn from their own creations. And so this is what we are. But the rest of the universe is filled with beings of all kinds. And the light beings are one kind of being that exists, that lives in the universe. And the reason they are light is because they have evolved out of physicality. And they have evolved out of physicality by attaining a level of goodness and wisdom. And so they live in their own planetary structure. They live in their own community, and they don't just stay there. They come out to help the rest of us so that we can evolve to become light beings eventually. And they are highly creative. They are highly intelligent. They are wise. They are humorous. And when they speak, it is very often in poetry. And that's because they are so refined that they express themselves in the most beautiful, poetic way. So how do we see them? We can't see them. We feel them. I have been so blessed that they have revealed themselves to me by sight. That is very, very rare, and you may read about it in different places. If you read about Saint Germain, as an example, there's one place. But don't expect them to become physical, because they cannot really become physical so that we can see them as to satisfy our curiosity. Part of being able to relate to them is to believe in them, to have faith. to believe in your own intuition. You know, when I first started to see beings of light, because before that I was feeling them, but then I began to see them. They actually started to show themselves to me, as I write about in my book, Song of the Heart, in 1991. So I thought part of me, the part that wants everything to be physical so I can touch it and see it, like we all do, wanted proof. So I kept asking for proof, and I kept getting it like in signs. He would show me signs, and the signs were really important signs. And so I eventually went to a psychiatrist because I wanted to check myself out and make sure I wasn't losing my mind. I'm seeing a being of light all the time. And the psychiatrist looked at me. We had a conversation. He said, enjoy your adventure. And then I said, well, he was too nice. And I eventually went to 3 psychiatrists that summer. And they all told me that I was functioning as a very active and successful adult, and that my mind was intact and I should enjoy what was happening. Very few people have this happen to them. Mm-hmm. And it was going to be very important in my life, as it became immediately the most important thing in my life. So I've done everything I could to prove it to myself. Now, the ultimate proof that the light beings are real is that they help me in my healing. And I can say that with very rare exceptions, and the rare exceptions are the people who came to me because their friend or their relative insisted that they come. They really didn't want to of their own. Mm-hmm. So everyone has success in their healing. Now, a successful healing does not always mean an absolute cure. It does mean healing. And healing is that you move away from the place that you were suffering into a better place. And most of the time it means losing the energy that created the illness, saying goodbye to it, understanding it, recognizing it, and letting it go. You no longer have that energy. And then you are healed. And you don't have that disease anymore. Sometimes you could get something else, and then you need more.
Yeah.
This is life on Earth, you know, and the challenges never end. But the light beings are real. If you open yourself to them, they will start to talk to them. If you don't open yourself, but they need you in their family, they will wake you up in some way. And those are the people that have near-death experiences, people that have catastrophic illnesses, that they fight back and come back. And because at the very end they always say, "Dear God, you know, save me, and I'll do anything you want." Right. You know, and then they come back, and they do. So it's much better to open up to the idea that we are not alone in the universe, that light beings exist, and accept them. And that's a lot easier than having to have a catastrophic experience in your life.
Right. Right. You know what I love about this, Francine? One of the things that I noted that you said that I think many of us can relate to is when we're children, we have a sense of innocence. And I'm not saying, you know, that we don't have some horrific things that happen in our lives. And certainly I have a story like that from a very young age. But before that, I had a sense that there was something out there that I related to that I couldn't really touch, but certainly could talk with. And then we get older and life goes on, and somehow we forget about this connection, right? And I want to ask you about this. Yeah, I want to ask you about this because the mission that I hear you saying you are on is that to help us with this reconnection. And I love the fact that I did have to get very, very sick to get that connection again in 2004. But now I don't. The word that comes to mind is surrender. And not in a weak way like we think about it, but surrendering the notion that there is nothing else but ourselves to help us, that there might be a purpose greater than ourselves. There might be an energy, a life force, a light being, an angel that is ready, willing, and able to help us. How do we get back to that?
That is so good, Pat. Thank you for everything you just said. The truth is that as children, when we are very, very young, we know this because we just came from that place. We just came from that infinite intelligence before we were born. We came from heaven. We came from a place where there are light beings and surrounded by a lot of light. That's, the higher realms, it's all light. Mm-hmm. So we know this. But then we become indoctrinated into our ego and into this world that we have to survive in. We get indoctrinated for a reason so that we can survive. And we have to know, at the very least, how the world works in our own world so we can make something of our lives. But then comes the time when we start to long for something better. And when we go inside, we reconnect with what we knew from before we were born. And that's why I say listen to your own intuition. It's your own self, your own knowing that you it's not something tangible. It's something that we all have inside us, our soul, and that will speak to you and let you know yes. And if you get tears in your eyes, if you feel emotional about it, if you long for it so deeply, that's a way to know that it's real. And that this world that we have had to make our way through, like slogging through molasses, like some dreams that we have sometimes, where it goes so slow. This is the world that we have been conquering so that now we can wake up and really connect with the power that we own. And the big secret, if I cut to the end, the big secret is that we are those light beings. That is us. We come back so that we can have this experience on Earth to learn through experience what we forget as light beings. As light beings, we forget. Sometimes I talk to them and I say, but you're telling me this, but you don't remember what it's like to be on Earth and how hard it is and how you can get hurt. Because they have evolved out of hurt. And they know that, but they don't stop encouraging me anyway to be courageous and not to be in fear, to let go of the fear. The fear is what holds us back from love. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about the kind of love that we receive from God, if you will. God in cosmic language is love. The air that we breathe is love, is God. Everything is God. Even the people that we describe as evil. And, of course, we should never, ever pass judgment on anyone because for all we know, the people that we describe as evil could have volunteered for that role to show the rest of us what it's like so that we can rise to the occasion and say, no, that's not where I want to go. I want to be with the light because that is love. We don't know. We just don't know. And if they are really evil, it's the energy that we bring that will shift the balance to create a better world. And so this is the end of a very long cycle of 26,000 years. And so it is coming to an end. And we do want the end to be an opening into the new way. It's not the end of everything. It's just the end of this cycle.
Yeah.
And so we want to move into a new way of being. And the way to do it is with our love. And if anybody is interested enough to friend me on Facebook and go to my Facebook page, I have something on there just a few days ago about stepping through the portal. And I wrote a blog about this portal last year, and now is the time for everyone to step through that portal and close the door behind us. And the door that we're closing behind us is a door on hatred, on hurting each other, on betrayals, on all the bad things that we have learned to somehow live with. But all those things contribute to our illnesses because we're open to energy. We're all really energetic beings. And so the energy of those negative, dark forces impinge on us and make us sick. But now is the time, this amazing opportunity. That's the energy we're feeling that we can't describe. There's an amazing opportunity beckoning to us to walk through this portal into the light. Mm-hmm. And once we walk through that portal, please read my blog. It's on my Facebook page right now. And I think the original blog is on Angels and Light Beings website. Mm-hmm. And once we step through that portal, and then we have to shut the door behind us, none of that will exist for us. In other words, we'll read about it while we're here. We'll read the newspaper, we'll listen, and we'll say to ourselves, that's the old way. I'm not part of that way anymore. I'm not letting it affect me anymore because I've stepped through the portal. And eventually you won't even want to read it because it's really all about consciousness. What we have as our consciousness directs us in our life. And I stay connected to that just so that I know what they're saying. I don't feel that it's part of my reality anymore. It's just not part of my reality. I'm looking at it like actors on a stage. And wow, what amazing actors they are. You know, they're such amazing actors that they get people believing it's real, but it's not real. And even, if I may relate to the Course in Miracles, which teaches, it's a brilliant, brilliant teaching. Oh. And I studied it for a year, and then I had too much work with my light work going on. But the Course in Miracles, and I'm still friends with people from the group, and the Course in Miracles teaches something that the light beings teach. They're very high teaching. Everything that is not love is part of the illusion. Only love is real. That is an amazing teaching. So all of this dark stuff, these debates that we see, where we look and we say, I don't want either one of them to be my president, you know. These debates are part of the illusion where we get to see that nobody is clear and pure. Everyone is touched by that darkness. That is part of the illusion. And it's coming up so that we can see that it's not real. It's craziness. It's absolute insanity. That's what it is. So don't be part of the insanity. Rise above it. See it for what it is. And step through the portal and declare yourself. There's nothing else to do but just declare yourself, I am now in the light. And all the rest is part of the illusion. And be friends with other people who are in the light. And let go of the ones who are hopelessly in the dark, where they not just pay attention to it, but they act on it. They behave the way those people on stage are behaving. Those people are not the ones you want to have in your life circle because they're taking up space that could be filled by people who want only the light in their life. Have made that choice. That's our free will. That's what free will is. It's not about choosing Coke over Pepsi or eating this food or that food or going here or there. No, free will is about choosing the light over the illusion. And
you know what I'm struck by in this too? And let's just chat about it for a minute before we go to break. This isn't about human I rarely will say this. This is not only about human being. It is really now about human doing. I was reading your post, and one of the things you say in it is, this is the time now. I mean, let me just make sure I'm clear. For those of you out there, I want to make sure you have the Facebook information to take a look at what we're talking about. So on Facebook, it's Francine.Vale, VALE.10. if you go there, you're going to see her. You're going to see a lot of things. You're going to see her book. You're going to see Francine. But one of the things I was really struck by is you say the time of preparation is over. I love that because I'm hearing that all over the place. I'm hearing that from numerologists. I'm hearing it from folks that understand the energy of things more than I do, people like you that are saying whatever it is you're afraid of, it is really time to even love that fear. See, isn't that an interesting notion? Love my fear? Really? Well, doesn't love melt so many things? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more about light beings. Not only what are they, but how to embrace that we are they. And what is it about us that we can tap into, that we can ignite again, that might be dormant? It did not go away. It is still with us. Those of you who listened to the show yesterday with Tabitha, you know that it is time that people are coming out and doing so much to heal. Francine Vale has been doing it all her life, and now she's ready to help all of us. Opening up the phone lines, 1-800-930-2819. Would you like to heal something today? What is it that is heavy on your heart? 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Dr. Pat Show, Angels and Light Beings. Francine Vale, I'm Dr. Pat. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans suffering from anxiety, you probably know how powerless and out of control this emotion can make you feel. This is why it is so important to remember that anxiety is created by your mind, which means that you can learn to use your mind to uncreate it. Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. My award-winning book, The Fear and Anxiety Solution, provides you with a step-by-step breakthrough process to understand and resolve the root causes of your anxiety and build a solid foundation of confidence and inner peace. If you're ready to take your power back, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com. That's thefearandanxietysolution.com, or call 866-903-6463. That's 866-903-MIND.
Brand consultant and coach Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're a person with a dream and unsure where to start, or a CEO of a successful company wondering what's next, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empowers you to play to your strengths and focus your competitive edge so you can show up in the world as your most powerful brand. Go to jenmorgan.com or call 206-972-5366.
Would you like to experience life-transforming adventures in personal expansion and world service? If you do, tune in to learn about magical innate abilities that you can develop and use to make your dreams come true. Joy Elaine is author of the Joy Chronicles, and she's inviting you and millions of others to join her in working with galactic masters, angels, and the Ashtar Command as they assist humanity and planet Earth to achieve their ultimate destination of ascension. For more information about this upcoming event and broadcast, visit joyelaine.com. That's joy, ELAINE.com.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. Francine Vale is in the house. As we said before, go to her website, angelsandlightbeings.com. Also, you can go to francinevale.com. There are several Facebook pages you can go to. All you need to do is just type in Francine Vale. You can also go to Facebook, Francine Vale Spiritual, and that's got a little question mark or something behind it. But the point is, just type in Francine Vale, and so many things will come up. The time is now, and the time is now in many, 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 many ways. That's why what Francine has done is she's posted some amazing videos about what it is we can say yes to be carried by the light. But that has got to start as an inside job, Francine. And you touched upon this earlier when we were talking about the Course of Miracles, because that is all about an inside job. So let's talk about, what we can do to recognize when these light beings are trying to get our attention. And what are the blocks? You touched upon some of them. But what are some of the other blocks that prevent us from not just seeing them or hearing them, but prevent us from healing ourselves?
It's the culture that we live in. It's everything that we've been indoctrinated into. But, I have learned, I made my YouTube series, 22 YouTubes, and I released one each Monday. And I decided, they're all very brief. They're all like less than 5 minutes. And let's see which topics people are drawn to the most. And that's what I'll make longer videos on. And I have found that people are drawn most to what happens after we die. Every time there's a video about life after death in some way, there's different ways to approach that topic. That's where I get the most responses to. And that is one of the very early ways that we learn about beings of light. Because, as I said before, we are beings of light. And how do we know this in our own little life? When someone we love passes over, they come back. The connection of love is so strong that we are not finished with our relationship. The relationship continues even after death. Now, when they show up, they very often will show up as light. But if we don't know that, we don't recognize it, that's we could see them in a human form, in the form of like white light, or the upper body in the form of white light. That person has become now their light being. They're in their light being form. Now, even people that we think we don't like, and then they pass over, they could have hurt us a lot in life, then they come back, they're light. They're light. And I learned that in my own personal life, and so that's what a light being is. It's someone who's not in a physical form. Now, the more highly evolved you become as a result of your life on Earth and the struggles that you have been successful with overcoming in fear and darkness, the brighter your light is. So when you can't see human features and you just see the light, that's a highly evolved being of light. When you still see features, they're in their process. And they're going to come back and raise their light energy even more. So that's the absolute honest truth. And when you when you listen to the video, watch the videos, when you read about these things, it opens your mind. It's hard to go from being immersed in the darkness of this world to suddenly, seeing light. It's important to take steps on your own behalf. Start reading information about that. Get into it. Watch videos about it. Read my book. Watch my video. My videos, when you watch them, you just see the purity of it. When I watch it, you're seeing yourself there, and I'm surprised because I don't know that I look like that. We look in the mirror, we don't know what we really look like. But when I see the YouTube, I can see it. And I can see clearly Spirit is speaking through me. It was all done without script. And so you become that vessel that allows Spirit, the light, to work through you. And you find yourself talking in a higher way, being in a higher way, living your life so that everything you do depends on you being in the light. Everything around you, and you raise your own vibration. Your aura begins to radiate a brighter light, and the people that are in your life, that come into your life, feel it and recognize it and treat you differently. And it's really pretty amazing. And if I might be diverging from your question, but this is just so amazing to me to recognize that it took a lot of courage to me to go out and first of all, to write my book. And it also took a lot of courage to make these YouTubes, because I'm talking about things that people could look at and say, oh, she's crazy. She's out of her mind. Those things aren't real. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did. But the truth of the matter is that I'm radiating this light when I'm speaking, that all the comments that I get, every communication, every email that I get is all beautiful, and it's all loving, and it's all good, because people are connecting to that light. And that brings tears to my eyes. I just feel so wonderful. When you watch certain speakers and you come away thinking, I don't know, there's something going on there. That's when you start to doubt. Anytime you have a doubt, and that doubt is showing you that the person is not coming from a place of purity. But when you come away feeling, wow, that was wonderful, how beautiful, and I feel so good now, that's a sign that the person is coming from a place of purity. And so you have to use your intuition. I always come back to that. Your intuition will always take you to the right place. So get me back on track, Pat.
Well, I want to just say there is no off track. What there is there is no off track. What we have is an exploration of what we're all being called to share, what we're all being called to say, how we're being called forward so that we are not hidden back by a small voice that we believe we have. I think we're all being called forth in a way that requires zero tolerance. That I do not think, not for 1 minute, that the voice of, or that, let's just say, the lack of a voice in the years to come is going to serve anyone. And I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about how we show up for each other. What good deeds will we do in the world? What is it that we're being called to do? It's really interesting, Francine. We have been sending out emails to show people Transformation Network, and what will be completely revealed in January for that network. And we reached back over to some people that I hadn't talked to in 10 years, and the story is all the same. It's I can't believe you're contacting me right now. I was just thinking about this. And there may be different versions of it, and I know that people are saying the same thing to you. Yeah. We are so tired of being tired. We're so we're so willing to let go of playing the game not to lose as opposed to playing to win. You know, we're really at the point where we have now recognized we cannot do it ourselves, not even thousands of us together. It requires a different level of help from the invisible, help from whatever your belief is in, you know, a purpose greater than you, whatever you call it, God, spirit, energy, life force. Uh, it doesn't really matter. All that really is required is to ask yourself, am I walking with the light or am I walking with the dark today? Not into it, not from it. What am I walking with? What is step by step, side by side with me in this very moment? What is it about me? Right? What do you think?
With you.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think that you know, we look at life in a very different way because we've been trained that way. But when you move into the light, you start seeing life differently, and you begin to see all the people that are doing good things in the world, and suddenly you realize this person is playing a role in life that is so beautiful. Everyone is helping to make this a better world in some way, and it's just unbelievable. Now that we have something we call self-destructive behavior. Now, what I see as those are people who are not living in the light, but they want to, and they want to get there. And there's a part of them that knows the only way they can get there is to be called out on their dark behavior. And so that becomes, they're crying out for help. And so that becomes their self-destructive behavior. They are to be loved, these people, because they have been crying out to get them out of the dark. And that's why they themselves brought them into a place where they would really be hurt so that they can receive the help they need. And so all of us are in this together. And we don't always have to know one another. We don't always have to be neighbors with someone who's doing something good. There are so many people around the world who are working with the light. And all we have to know is that they are doing it in their place. And so if there's somebody that you know far away that's doing good things, you always say, oh, I wish we lived closer. But you don't have to live close. They're in their place to bring in the light, and you are in your place to bring in the light, and we need to all be scattered around the world. So we're not always so close together. When we are, we all should be connected to groups that are working for the light. That's where we are connected in the place where we live, when we're connected to groups. And these days with cyberspace, you don't even have to be living in the same place to be connected to a group. But these are connections that we have. And so we know that there's light all around the world struggling to shine brighter and brighter. And it's a wonderful thing to know. You know, I had an experience once where these beings of light took me up into space. And we were in a vehicle, and they showed me Earth. And they showed me all these explosions going on. I saw like explosions of red light exploding all around the Earth. Then they showed me people loving one another and waking up. And all those explosions, and I'm filled with vibrations as I'm recalling this to you, turned into golden light. And the whole world became covered with golden light. Golden light was like a blanket around the world. And they said, this is what love does. And so that was an amazing experience I had, an unforgettable vision of the Earth and how these beings of light are working to help us create that. And we will, because I'll tell you a secret, it's already been written. But we have to go there. We have to make it happen in third dimension with our light. Make the light real in third dimension by loving, forgiving, letting go, being dedicated to only good things. When the dark side shows itself to us, send it love and send it away. Turn yourself away from it. Do not engage with the dark side. There was a time when we could, but we cannot now. That's a very big teaching that I've received. You must protect your mortal body. Wars, if you throw yourself in the line of fire, you get killed. But do not engage in the dark side. They have other ways of hurting you aside from bringing you into an all-out war. Stay away from the dark side. Stay only with people. And if it's only 2 people in your life or a handful of people, stay only with people who are doing good. And that number will increase exponentially as you make that choice. Stay away from the dark side. You do not have to convince them of anything. The light will shine and overcome the dark. We cannot convince the dark side to change their ways. They will be taken care of by the light, and somehow the light knows what to do with them. But it's not us. We cannot. We can only go to war and kill them and risk getting killed, and there's no point in that. That's part of the old way. And so it's really important. We read every day in the newspaper how people are killed in war. Now they're not here anymore. They were good. They were fighting for good. Their family is bereft, and we don't want to be part of that. It's not. That's the old way. That's what we have been indoctrinated into. Do it with the light. Shine your light.
Well,
Shine
I
your
mean,
light.
you know what you're really what this invitation actually what I'm hearing this invitation about is about. It's about for each and every one of us to not just expand our consciousness, Francine, but take a look at the world of possibilities for ourselves, for our family, for our children, for our grandchildren, for others. You know, but I'm really struck by an energy that I have really not felt since I was in my 20s. And I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see it in the Dakotas, you know, with First Nations saying, no, this land is sacred. I'm seeing it with not just Patricia Arquette now standing up and talking about equal pay. But do you want to hear something? I'm writing an article about this. Do you want to hear something really interesting that I'm not sure if you thought about this or not? Do you know that I had this epiphany about 3 weeks ago? Do you know if this election goes the way that most people are predicting it? Do you want to hear something really ironic?
Yes.
We might have a president who does not have equal rights. Now, when I woke up in the middle of the night with that thought, I was thinking about my days of, you know, the Equal Right Amendment and where that was and what happened. And I was really struck by the fact that in this country at the moment, women don't have equal rights. And I had forgotten that. You know what I'm trying to say? And so when I'm talking to Jessica and the other young woman here that are in their 20s, they're just looking at me like, what do you mean that we can have a president that is a woman, if that happens, and she will not have equal rights? I said, Google it. Is that a little mind-blowing, or is it just me?
No, it's very real. You know, my daughter is a lawyer, and her work is teaching executives of major corporations how to avoid lawsuits of sexual harassment because they don't know how to treat women. And so this is her work. She teaches them the correct behavior, the appropriate behavior in the workplace. And this raises their awareness. And so they come to it from a selfish place. But what they're learning is really helping them raise their consciousness and recognize appropriate behavior toward women and how women need to be treated with respect. And so it's very, very ironic to me that the path to teaching them is through their own selfishness. They don't want to get sued. And so this is really important work. And she wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a real need for it. Women are standing up for their rights, and it's happening more and more. And I think that what you say is very profound. And it is becoming more of an awareness out there in the world. There are places where it is coming into the public sphere of reasoning about women. And there have been articles about this, yes, probably not enough. I think you should add your voice. I think it's very important. I think it's critical. And it'll change personal relationships and public relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Women still earn far less than men doing the same work, whoever they are, wherever it is. And so, yeah, this is a big topic. This is a big topic, but it's all part of the rest of it. It really is. But, these things die hard deaths. But maybe that's what we need to make the change. As we said before, the chaos must come out and show us where the imbalances are, so that it envelops us, so that we just want no more of it.
Yeah. And there's still a few of us that, are not dead yet. You know what I mean? There's still a few of us that actually remembered part of the journey. Don't you think this is a time where the light beings are not just asking us to show up and have a voice, but to show up and remember the journey? Because if we're not going to remember the journey, how are we going to transfer or pass anything on? What will happen if we're not storytelling about how we got here? So, I mean, all of this is, for you and I, all of this is to remember to take ourselves and keep carrying the light. That's why I don't do a political show. That's really not mine to do. What I'll talk about are values. What I'll talk about are, what is it that is going to be important for all of us to remember, so that we not only have inner peace, but that we can create a better world. Thank you for today. I want to ask you, Francine, what's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with? And tell folks how they can get your videos.
Well, my personal message is make these teachings of the light your prime purpose, as if your life depended on it, because it does. Be kind to yourself and love one another. I put that at the end. That's at the end of all my emails. That's the teaching. Don't forget yourself. Learn to love yourself and be kind to one another. I also don't talk about the dark side. My work is focused on the light. There are other people who are talking about the dark. I never do in anything. I just refer to them, but I don't talk about what it is they're doing. That's not my role. And so please do visit my website, where I have all my videos as I release them. Now there's about 15 of them. FrancineVale.com. Go to angelsandlightbeings.com, the website for the Dr. Pat Show. And also, please come to Facebook. Friend me on Facebook. We'll have our connection forever, and it's a wonderful thing. And live your life in goodness. Live your life in goodness. You can stop yourself if you're acting from habitual ways, and just say, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm not doing that anymore, and back up, and just live your life in goodness. And that's what we're all being called to do.
I love it. Thank you, Francine, so much. And for those of you out there, you can go to FrancineVale.com, or you can go to angelsandlightbeings.com, or you can just Google Francine Vale. Whatever way, it will get you to the light. Thank you, Francine. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's listening, for staying with us. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back. More with the Dr. Pat Show.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.